After a 2-week gap which saw Exeter Chiefs crowned champions of the LV Cup, the Aviva Premiership was back. With just 6 games left of the league season, points were becoming more and more crucial at both ends of the table. The action kicked off at 6 ways, with Worcester desperately searching for their first win of the season to kick off the greatest of escapes. Their opponents, London Wasps, had not yet given up on the hope of a top 6 spot, with former Warrior Andy Good in at fly half. His first penalty of the night levelled the scores at 3-3 in a poor half of rugby. The home side was ignited into life on 53 minutes though, David Lemmy showing a flash of inspiration to evade the Wasps defence before setting up Sam Betty for the score. Referee Andrew Small went upstairs and the TMO confirmed Lemmy's foot had stayed in touch. Worcester clung on to the lead, adding a further penalty through Ryan Lamb until heartbreak in the last minute of the game as Jake Cooper-Woolley crashed over for Wasps, leaving the scores at 11-all. It was up to Good with the final kick of the game to push Wasps in front and consign Worcester to another defeat. He made no mistake, but chose not to celebrate the crushing blow for his former side. Table-topping Northampton welcomed back a glut of international stars to their starting lineup, but it was 20-year-old Will Hooley who notched the opening points against Sale. The Sharks had been consistently tough opposition in the league this season and imposed themselves early on against Saints after a superb Dwayne Peel break. The ball was switched to the other flank, finding its way to Mark Cueto, who added yet another try to his Aviva Premiership record haul. And the Sharks did not relent. Just past the half hour, it was Mark Jones who burrowed over. Temperatures rose in the aftermath of the try, giving Luke Pearce no choice but to send Dylan Hartley and Sam Tuitupo to the bin. And Sale were not done there, Tom Brady running in a third try for his side before the break, with Danny Cipriani adding the extras. With the rain falling heavily in the second half, it was tough for both sides, and Sale's committed effort in defence prevented Northampton troubling the scoreboard. A deserved win for Steve Diamond's men, who was delighted with the win.
Well, obviously, very difficult game, and you know, we Northampton come in with all their internationals back. You know, it'd either go one way or another. They're really up for it, or you know, they would struggle fitting back in, and it looked like that's what happened from the first 20 minutes. So, you know, they've had no rest their players for a long time. So, credit to them for doing what they did. But you know, fair play to ourselves. We stuck to our guns today and we're physical in the contact area, and that's where it was won and lost, I think.
The home of football played host to one of club rugby's most anticipated fixtures as Saracens took on Harlequins. 83,889 fans watched on, setting a new world record for a rugby union club fixture. And the Sarries contingent were treated early on. A loose Quins pass was intercepted by Chris Ashton, who sprinted the length of the field to go in under the sticks in trademark fashion. Wembley has seen some infamous missed spot kicks over the years in football, so Sarries fans were relieved to see Englishman Owen Farrell having no trouble from the tee. Sarries had added a second try from George Cruis and looked to be running away with it before Carl Dixon showed a flash of brilliance at the breakdown to snipe over the try line. But Farrell had the last word of the half, profiting from yet more loose passing inside the Quins own 22 to grab a try which he duly converted. Sarries had a rocky start to the second half, losing captain Steve Borthwick to the bin before the subsequent passage of play let Sam Smith in to score in the corner. But the 14 men were able to steady the ship and had the bonus point wrapped up when Shout Brits and Jack Berger combined to devastating effect. And the world record crowd was sent home with a final effort from Marcelo Bosch, slicing through Quins' defence with consummate ease. And the North London outfit now usurp the Saints to reclaim top spot in the league. A 10-try thriller at Kingsholm gave Gloucester and Newcastle reason for cheer. Sione Kalamafoni got the try deluge underway in the 17th minute, making light of teammates James Hudson's sin bin in 5 minutes before. Newcastle have struggled for tries this season, but were back in the contest when Chris York found acres of space on the right flank and went over unopposed. Minutes later, Rob Cook picked his way through a gap in the Falcons' defence, starting a sequence of scores for the home side that saw 3 more unanswered tries. The third would score by returning England wing Johnny May, who ghosted past Noah Cato before splashing down. Dean Richards brought on his young guns, and after the hour mark the tide began to turn. A well-worked move opened the door for George McGuigan for what appeared a consolation effort, but two more tries from Andy Saul and Alex Tate gave Newcastle a first attacking bonus point of the season, much to the frustration of the Shed. The Falcons' revival was completed in the final minute as Cato found space out wide to canter over. Then Joel Hodgson had a tricky conversion to secure a losing bonus point. The kick was good, and despite the defeat, his side travelled back to Kingston Park with 2 points for their efforts. 22,000 fans filled the Majeski for a St Patrick's weekend party, with London Irish looking for another positive performance against top four opposition. The opening exchanges were characterised by a spate of handling errors on both sides, but the party was kicked off on the half hour by club legend Topsy Ojo finding his way over the try line from close range. Bath, however, were keen to crash the party and did so minutes later. Some precise handling set Nick Abendinen on his way, and his offload found Kyle Eastman, who sprinted for the try line. The turning point of the game came after the restart. Abendinen involved again, but this time supplying Anthony Watson for the score. Television replays seem to show that Dave Atwood's movement off the ball may have aided the score. Greg Garner watched with the crowd on the stadium screen and decided he had seen no infringement, much to the displeasure of the Exiles. With the result seemingly wrapped up, both sides scored a try each, before Matt Garvey popped up in the final minute to score the bonus point try against his old club. And Bath's grip on a playoff place remains strong going into the latter stages of the season. Welford Road hosted round 17's final game, with the newly crowned LV Cup champions Exeter the visitors. Richard Cockle put Manu Tuilagi in his starting 15 and was rewarded in the early exchanges as the centre eased his way over to score. The momentum was with the Tigers. Not long after, Nicky Gonover and Lagovi Malapola combined, with Jack Null unable to halt the charge of the crop. Despite these early setbacks, Chiefs were still in the contest and reminded Leicester of their attacking potency when Jack Yandel crashed over. But a minute later, the Tigers roared back into the attack, Gonover weaving his way through the Chiefs' defence, and from that point onwards, Leicester never looked back, the Chiefs suffering a cup final hangover. Adam Tomstone notched the bonus point try, and with a further double salvo from David Mele, it was an emphatic victory for Richard Cockle's men, who faced bitter rivals Northampton in round 18. So with a handful of games remaining this season, it's Sarries who topped the pile after their bonus point win at Wembley, replacing the Saints who slipped to second. Bath and Leicester both recorded bonus point wins and sit comfortably in the top four slots, though Sharks and Quins remain in the frame for the playoffs. Wasps' win at Six Waves keeps them on top of the midfield bunch, with Irish still on 26 points after defeat at the Majeski. Newcastle and Worcester face each other in round 18 in a game which could consign the Warriors to near certain relegation or potentially offer them hope of salvation. For all the latest Premiership Rugby news and highlights, log on to the official YouTube channel or visit premiershiprugby.tv.